Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to December 10th Board of Police Commissioners meeting. And we start with the acknowledgement that we are on the traditional lands of Treaty 4 territory, a treaty signed with 35 First Nations across southern Saskatchewan and parts of Alberta and Manitoba, and the original lands of Cree, Saulteaux, Lakota, and the homelands of Métis Nation. The city of Regina owes its strength and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse Indigenous people whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as the settlers from around the world who continue to be welcomed here and call Regina home. We'll start with the first item on the agenda. That will be the approval of public agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the public agenda, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Carried. Next item is approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting held on November 25th, 2025? And errors or omissions, please. Okay, I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Carried. All right. So the first item is on the agenda is PO 25-31, Tamara Keepness investigation. Chief Davis, could you please introduce the report, please?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is a report that every year we review annually to determine if we want to continue with this reward. I'm going to turn this over to Superintendent Laurel Marshall, who's in charge of our Investigative Services Division. She will present on this report and the subsequent report in the package, and I will turn it over to Laurel.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, Mayor and members of the board, media, and fellow co-workers. Tamara Keepness, she was reported missing July 6, 2004, and she was last seen in her Regina home the day prior. This led to a comprehensive search, multifaceted investigation, and yet the investigation remains unsolved. So the following week that she was reported missing, the Board of Police Commissioners at the time did authorize a $25,000 reward for information leading to the discovery of the location of Tamara. And there has been a continuation, as the chief said, every year since. And in 2014, that $25,000 reward was increased to $50,000. So a reward brings Tamara's disappearance to the forefront of people's minds. And with the passing of time, people's lives, their life circumstances change, which can generate new opportunities or reasons for bringing new information forward. Currently, the investigation is assigned to our cold case unit to identify and follow up on any investigative avenues. A new cold case coordinator was appointed in January, and they've done an extensive review with just a fresh set of eyes on the case. And with also the advancement of science, they've been able to go through different evidence to see if there's new opportunity for DNA analysis or testing. And so some exhibits have been identified to be sent off to the National Lab in Ottawa. So we're currently pursuing that. Also, 5 new tips were received this year and have been followed up and investigated. Our cold case coordinator believes that there are people in our community who have information that could advance the investigation and lead to the whereabouts of Tamara Keepness. Announcing the continuance of the award in 2026 brings public awareness to her disappearance with the hopes that it could lead to new investigative avenues. Guidelines for claiming the reward are part of the report, which are also on our website. If you go to About Us, it's under the Board of Police Commissioners section, so people can refer to that. But the important thing to remember there is that if you do have any information regarding the investigation, you can contact the Regina Police Service Cold Case Unit of our Major Crimes section. And we will be reminding both the media and the public that the reward is going to be continued for 2026 via our social media outlets, and in the coming days and weeks we will have media releases as well. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Laura. Does anybody have any questions on this? All right, well, thank you very much for your report. Can I have a motion that the Board of Police Commissioners continue to offer a $50,000 reward until December 31st, 2026 for the information that leads to determining the whereabouts of Tamara Kipnis? Okay, thank you. I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next item is PO 25-33, the crime statistics, please. We'll do that first and then we'll come back to the other one.
Respectfully, 25-32, the other reward file.
Yeah, we'll go with 32, please.
Okay, thank you. So this is in a similar vein as the previous report. I will again turn it over to Superintendent Marshall to talk about this request for a continuation of reward in relation to the triple homicide that occurred back in 2010.
So in August, it was August 6th, 2010, the bodies of Gray A2, his wife Mama, and their 3-year-old son, 7 June 2, were located in their Uplands residence. A thorough police investigation ensued. The family were Karen refugees who came to Canada 2 years prior from a Thailand refugee camp. Language and cultural barriers made this a very complex investigation right from the beginning. We were fortunate to have the assistance from an RCMP member of Karen descent, and he was embedded into the investigation very early on. So numerous resources were assigned, upwards to more than 25 people at one time, with the primary investigation team comprised of 5 sworn members and 1 civilian, which maintained full-time oversight of the investigation. The primary investigative team worked in conjunction with several police agencies from across Canada, as well as the US, including FBI and Interpol and CBSA. Over 200 interviews were conducted, and various police investigative techniques were carried out. Extensive communication, outreach, and education was facilitated in efforts to build mutual understanding among the Karen community, the larger community as a whole, and the police. Building trust and understanding with the Karen community was paramount to creating a safe environment for people to come forward with information relating to the homicides. In 2015, our cold case coordinator took carriage of this file, supported by 3 major crime unit members as needed to continue investigative avenues. Police believe people in our community have information related to these 3 deaths. Continuance of a reward for information to the death of the family may elicit needed evidence to advance the investigation. And again, these guidelines are part of the report, and they can be found on our website. And we too will be sending out media awareness on this through our social media and media releases in the coming days and weeks prior to 2026. And that concludes my report. And again, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the report. Does the board have any questions? Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. Just curious, this may have been answered when we've talked about these in the past, when we involve either Ottawa, the crime lab, or when we work with Interpol. What kind of costs are involved in doing that?
Good question. Now, when we send samples away to the RCMP Forensic Lab, there isn't a cost for us to submit those exhibits. They do have to be pre-approved by the Forensic Lab in order that they will accept them in the examination. Sometimes, based on capacity, they can't accept all exhibits. And so in some instances, we have gone to outside sources to be able to get that analysis done outside of the RCMP Crime Lab. I don't, off the top of my head, know costing on anything like that, but it is fairly pricey, I would say. But when it comes to determining, these huge files where we're talking about missing persons, loss of life, for us, in most instances, we want to cover that expense because it might advance the investigation. So we'll look at different budget lines and find ways to make that happen because it is important for those investigative pieces. That analysis might be the one piece that we need to advance the investigation.
Yeah, thank you for that. And another sort of basic question, maybe I should know this, but when other forces talk to us, whether it's within Canada or the US, how do we, or do we even have like a charge for that? Is there a time spent on a case, or are we just doing this for free and they do the same?
Yeah, I would say in most cases, we work collaboratively, cooperatively. We don't sort of charge back or anything along those lines. Sometimes if we are requested to do an in-depth investigation by another service, maybe at the request of the province or by another chief, sometimes we will itemize that and expense that back. But that conversation always happens upfront so that everyone understands the expectation. But for the most part, we work very collaboratively. Obviously, with us being the second biggest police service in the province, we want to help out our partners, our smaller agencies, by offering our expertise, whether it could be major crimes, forensic identification, our critical incident stress management team. The policing community in Saskatchewan is quite small, and so when we can work together to help each other out, then certainly that's a good thing.
Sorry, I can add just to highlight a case from a few years ago. We had the John Doe who was struck by a train in West Regina in the late 90s. We engaged a private lab, Othram, from the States, and they were able to identify who he was and gave some sense of closure to his family. So the advancements in DNA and technology are big, so hopefully this will encourage forward movement.
Excellent.
Sorry, if I could just add to what the chief was saying too. I know for this file, the RCMP member that was embedded in this investigation was well past a year. Like I want to say over 2-3 years full time, and there was no cost to us for that, except for perhaps overtime and anything like that. So that was like a generous, I guess, on RCMPs. And then also just with the labs, there was scientific advancements in the United States that we didn't have in our lab here. And so we did due diligence in order to advance the investigation to say, yes, we'll be willing to pay, I wouldn't know what the cost was offhand, but to send it to a private lab in the US in the hopes that we could garner some evidence. Fortunately, we didn't get anywhere with that, but it's just an example, as Deputy Chief Steveley said as well, that we are always looking at what gives us the best opportunity to advance an investigation.
Any other questions? Well, I have one. So, Chief, can you maybe explain what would be the criteria for a cold case to be turn into a reward like this? Is there a certain criteria that RPS will follow in terms of that?
Certainly. So these are the only two files right now where we have active rewards in place. And it's really, this evaluation happens every year. So do we think there are people in our community who have information out there who could advance this investigation? And so the answer in both of these files is yes. Every year, our cold case team, along with our major crimes team, takes a look at the file to say, is this something that is still worth continuing? We believe in both these cases that there are people in the community who have information that can help advance the investigation. As Laurel highlighted, sometimes with the passage of time, people's circumstances change, where maybe they're in a position now where they feel comfortable coming forward. And certainly if we can couple that with some advances in technology, that could be just that one little piece that we need. So both of these cases, I would say, were historic in our community for the impact it had on our community. And so we really would like to be able to find those who are responsible and hold them accountable, provide answers to families. And so for us, this reward money will come out of our 2026 budget. We're not asking for anything in addition, but we believe it's important. It would be great news for our community if we were able to solve these two cases.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Can I have a motion that the Board of Police Commissioners continue to offer a reward of $50,000 until December 31st, 2026 for the information leading to the arrest and the conviction of the person responsible for these deaths? I'll call the question. Thank you. Is anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Now we'll go to PO 25-33. Chief, could you please introduce the report?
Certainly. So we don't have as fulsome of a statistics package for you for November, just because of the timing of this meeting is a little bit too early. We like to verify and ensure that all of our files that we've categorize them, make sure they're in the right criteria before we are comfortable releasing them publicly. So we will get you the full stats package on this next month, but I can highlight a few things for you. This has not been a good year for homicides for our community, as we previously highlighted. On the 1st of November, unfortunately, we had our 11th homicide of the year. I am happy to say, through a very fulsome investigation, our major crimes team really dug into this one. We were able to charge 6 people in connection with this incident, and I know that that is very important for the family of the victim. Another file that I would highlight, sort of in relation to this cooperation that we talked about previously, was on November 21st. We had a number of hit and run events in the city. We had a theft of a delivery vehicle. The vehicle then went out to White City, so in RCMP jurisdiction. We had a good communication with them back and forth on this file. Our air support unit was engaged, our tactical support unit was engaged, and at the end of the day, we were able to arrest and locate and arrest a 40-year-old male who is facing a number of charges, including theft, drug trafficking, dangerous driving. And so, it does speak to that collaboration that we have, 24/7 with our neighboring police agencies. In relation to overdoses, you would have seen in the community where there were a number of alerts that went out over the course of the past month about the toxicity of drugs in our community. Unfortunately, there had been a number of deaths over the last number of months due to suspected drug overdose. So we are always happy to amplify that message for the community so that people know what substances are currently out there, and hopefully people can make sort of safer decisions if they are using. And it's also important for our community partners to know about that information as well. So the harm reduction folks and our other emergency services providers as well. I would also highlight just through our traffic enforcement, we had almost 1,600 traffic stops in November, which is, a good consistent number for our units out there. Sometimes when road conditions get a little bit tricky, it's harder for traffic enforcement. We were quite fortunate in November. We'll see what the December numbers hold. But certainly I know our partners at the RCMP were highlighting the number of deaths on roadways recently. And so we want to be diligent in our traffic enforcement to ensure that people are slowing down, not driving distractedly, and following the rules of the road. So those were just a few things that I would highlight next month. And as mentioned, we will have a more fulsome package on the November statistics in January.
Great, thank you. Does the board have any questions? I'll call the question to, could I have a motion to receive and file the report, please? Thank you. I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none, carried. Next item is PO 25-34. Ms. Golke, could you please introduce the report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the date report for the meeting times and dates in 2026. Dates for meetings are chosen after consultation with the chief's offices and the mayor's offices. And historically, meetings have been held at 9 a.m. to allow for sufficient time during the day in case a meeting is lengthy. Last Tuesday of the month has been chosen to allow for the availability of crime stats for the previous month. Otherwise, there's just one exception. Normally, they're held on Tuesdays, but in August, the meeting will be on Thursday, August 20th, to allow travel time for police executive to come back from the CACP conference in Edmonton.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? Could I have a motion to approve the dates listed in the recommendation? I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Carried. Can we have a resolution for the private? Sorry. Sure.
Sorry, I'm going to drive Elaine crazy by interrupting the script. I just want to say we have two members that are departing our board, Yashu and Anastasia. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you for your time on the board and your service to the board, and it's greatly appreciated, both of you. And good luck in the future, and keep in touch.
Thank you. So can I have a resolution for the private session, please? I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. We'll recess for 20 minutes. Thank you.